I've had a very difficult childhood, to be honest, with the name Nehemiah. And it's a name straight out of the Bible. But I don't know how, I don't care how spiritual the name is. If it brought me trouble, I just hate the name. Whenever I get into a new class, the teacher would make me stand up and say my name like many times until she gets it. And then I would have to explain my name, the pronunciation, and I would have to hear 4 to 5 different variants of my name happening in the school. And it was just a crazy thing. So I kind of hated my name, to be honest, when I was growing up. I don't hate it now because I believe there's a purpose behind every name. Even your name has a purpose, I believe. But I kind of hated my name when I started growing up. The moment I hated my name the most was probably when I went to a wedding. And this is my neighbor's wedding. So we live in urban societies and we rarely see our neighbors, right? So they invited me for the wedding. So I went there. I had never seen that guy. And so he comes in and he shakes my hand, and my sister was with me. I have a younger sister. She was with me, and he asked my name. I said, my name is Nehemiah. And he looked at me for some time and then said, oh, so you are Neha and she's Maya. And I was like, God, this has to be it. I hate my name now. But growing up, that is how it was for me. It was a regular thing for me, kind of. But yeah, I hated my name. But these small insecurities, when you're small, these small insecurities can create a big impact in your life, right? And so it might have started with my name, but it was not just my name. I was a totally introverted person. I was so low in my self-confidence. I was that kid in your class. In your class, you probably have that one kid who would sit right at the corner in the front, but right at the corner. And then that person would be, sitting alone in his bench, or probably another nerdy person would be sitting with him. And that person wouldn't dare to speak, raise his hand or say any. He would be a studious person, but he wouldn't dare to say the answers. He would read the textbook. That person wouldn't dare to speak to girls. If it was a boy, he wouldn't dare to speak with girls, because that was me. That was my confidence level. You see, I was such a broken person. I did not come from a broken home, to be honest. I did not come. My parents were amazing. I had such an awesome family. I was not into any addictions or any substance abuse or any of those things. Everything on the outside seemed okay. Like, why would this boy have any problems? But then inside, I was not from a broken home, but I had a broken heart, right? I was not addicted to substance, but I was addicted to self-depressing thoughts, right? And so I was completely broken on the inside, looking okay outside, but completely broken on the inside. And so everything had a part, right from my name. I mean, my name has a purpose now. I love my name right now. But at that moment, I hated my name. At that moment, I hated myself, because I thought I had no talents. I thought I couldn't speak up to people. I couldn't talk to people. I just simply hated myself. And school was a horrible place for me. And I would like to say one story from my schooling life. This was when I was 10 years old, 5th standard, I guess. We had compulsory swimming classes. And so we were supposed to take our swimming class every Wednesday. And the last 2 periods would be swimming classes. But I was terrified of a swimming instructor. And so I somehow wanted to bunk the swimming classes. So I would write notes in my diary each week. I would somehow get my parents to sign it, saying I have fever. And then I would bunk the swimming classes because I was afraid of this instructor. He would push me to the deep waters. I was totally afraid of him. And then I remember one time my parents said, no, we can't let you, live a life of lies. You got to face it. And then I was like, no, I cannot face it. But I just went to school without a note and I did not know what to do. The last period was coming. I quickly devised an idea. I thought I'll go hide in my school bus. And so as the entire school was queuing up to go to the swimming pool, somewhere in between the line when all my classmates were talking, I just left the line and I hid in the school bus. It was the last 2 periods I hid in the school bus. And now I was missing in school. The entire school was searching for me. The entire school. They called up my parents. Where is Nehemiah? Where is he? He's missing from the swimming class. He's not in the classroom. They were all searching for me. But I was hiding in the swimming class. You know why I was hiding? It was because of fear. Fear had gripped my soul. There was fear all around me. And it was not just swimming classes. It was from one area to the other area. Fear just started going and spreading into all these areas until I was such a useless person to myself. I totally hated myself. And I mean it when I say that. I hated myself. I hated the person that I had become. I hated the way I was created. I hated the way I looked in the mirror. I totally hated myself. I know there are a lot of people joining me right now, and I want to speak to you from my own story, because you might be thinking, you might be a person who might have everything on the outside, lovely parents, lovely friends, everything on the outside, but you still hate yourself on some level. And this story might just speak to you. And so fear had gripped my soul. And Will Smith once said that life's greatest things are placed on the other side of fear, right? Life's greatest things and memories and all these great things are placed on the other side of fear. And God placed it like that. Will Smith said it in an interview. And so I understood that my purpose in life was placed on the other side of fear. You see, we all have a purpose in life, but that purpose is oftentimes placed on the other side of fear. You have to overcome your fear to get into your purpose. My purpose in life was, now that I realized, was to speak to people like you, was to speak to youngsters like you. But my greatest fear was people. My greatest fear was speaking to people. And now that was a contradictory thing to me. How do I overcome my fear? How do I get to my purpose in life if my purpose in life itself is my greatest fear? And so that was my biggest dilemma. But I came to God. I came to the person of Jesus Christ. He completely changed my life. I was a broken, introverted, shy person who wouldn't amount to nothing. My teachers wrote it in my report card. My parents were disappointed in me. My parents were great leaders. You see, they were charismatic, bright leaders, and they had big expectations of me. And when they heard these reports from my teacher, they were totally sad. But then I knew that God could change my life, and I gave my life to Christ at the age of 9. But then it was not a quick process. It was not magic. It was a journey. And so from the age of 9 till the age of 17, 18, 19, I was still trying to find my purpose. I still struggled with fear. I still was trying to conquer my fear throughout my schooling. I still was trying to conquer my fear. But as the years passed on by, as I slowly depended and trusted the person of Jesus, as I followed him, I saw the fears in my life just going away and melting like wax, right? I saw the fears melting like wax, and I becoming a confident person. And now you see me as a confident person. You see me as a happy person. You see a smile in my face. And this smile is not fake. You see, my old smile would have been fake, but this smile is not fake because I mean it. I mean it when I'm sharing my story. I mean it when I'm pouring out my heart to youngsters, because this is my heart. My heart really pumps, beats for youngsters. Last year in 2019, there was an event called Walk for Freedom. It's a walk happening across the world in more than 500 different cities. And somehow the coordinators of the Indian walk, the coordinators of India, somehow got my number, and they called me up last year. And they said, "Hey, Nehemiah, we want you to lead the Walk of Freedom in Cochin." And I was like, "Well, is this wrong number?" I was confused. Man, why would they call me? I have done nothing of that charity sort, nothing of those things. I mean, I always want to do something for the community, but nothing of that sort. And then this was against human trafficking, that every 8 minutes a child goes missing in India. There are 80 lakh slaves or human trafficked victims in India. And when I heard those stories, I said, I want to do something. But I told God, I don't have the confidence to do it. You know me. You know that I'm an introvert person. You know my schooling life. I don't have the confidence to do it. But God said, yes, you have to do it. And then I don't know why I did it. I just accepted. And then over the next 3-4 months, I visited almost every college in our city. I went to almost every classroom. I went and I spoke about human trafficking. I spoke why we must take a stand against human trafficking. And many colleges invited me. And then I went to the info park, the techno park, the big corporate worlds. I went into these boardrooms, and I went into these office spaces, and I would just lift up my voice loudly inside the office space, and I would speak against human trafficking, and I would invite people to come for this walk. I never knew that this would happen. And then I had to do press conferences. I had to do, meet up with government officials. I had to meet up with the collector, with all these people, with the police officials, invite them. And 3 months later, when we conducted the walk, on the morning of the walk, I was still afraid. I was still shivering on the inside because my old fear was still reminding me, you cannot do it, Nehemiah. My old fear was still telling me, Nehemiah, you cannot overcome this fear. This is going to be a big flop. Why did you even agree to even host this event? You're still a 20-year-old person. Why do you even agree to do it? But then on that day morning, I just gave myself to God. I said, God, you take complete control. You asked me to do it. And if you ask me to do it, I'm going to do it. And I went and I did it that morning. And we had this program on in a place called Rajendra Maidan. And on that day, 800 people came in from colleges across the state. 800 students and officials from corporate world, government people, NGOs, and all these people came in. And I stood on that platform. I invited the chief guest, led the entire event, said the pledge, and 800 people took a decision to stand against human trafficking. And I looked at that big crowd in front of me as I was standing on that stage, and I told my fear that how dare you stop me from achieving my dreams? That you cannot stop me from achieving my dreams. If God is for me, who can stand against me? If God asks me to do something, there's nothing in this world that can stop me.
What kind of public speaking you do, and what are the tips you could give to people today?
The public speaking I do is kind of diverse because I've done Model United Nations in the past. I've done with Harvard University, which is held in Hyderabad. Then I've gone into many charity events and spoken about human trafficking and all those sort of things. What's the importance of acting on behalf of the community? And as well as I've gone to many youth camps and youth conferences. I've done a lot of speaking there. And also for my church youth group and our church in particular, I do speak on behalf of my church. Yeah, I really like to listen to podcasts, and that's the main reason I started my own podcast, because I like podcasts. Always on my car, or if I'm jogging in the morning, I always put on my headphones and just listen to the latest podcast that will encourage me, that will be food for my soul. And I thought I got to give what I receive, and so this is just it for the people to just listen and just receive some encouragement. Yeah, there's a song that I wrote recently when the coronavirus began. Actually, if I had some time, I would have tuned my guitar. I haven't tuned my guitar, otherwise I would have played that song. But the song is called There's No Way You Love Me. But the song is about how we wear masks, the masks that we wear outside, but we have internal masks too, and we use that to hide our emotions and whatever that is really happening inside. We wear long sleeves. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today, but we wear long sleeves to hide our scars. And it's a song talking about, if people know the real me, they would never love me. If they really knew who I really was, I would really doubt that they would love me, they would accept me. But then the song ends in saying that there's only one person that can really accept me and love me for who I am, who I really am, and that's Jesus. And so there's no way you love me, that if you really knew me, but Jesus loves me even though he knows us exactly. I have a big mirror in my dressing room, or if it's in my office room, I still have that mirror in my dressing room in my office. And so before I get to speak, or before I go out somewhere to speak, I look at the mirror and I'll say, hey, man in the mirror, you are called to do this. You have confidence, even though sometimes I feel that I'm not good looking. I would say, you're good looking. You can do this, man. You really can do this. You can pull it off. People are going to be impacted by your story. Whatever you're going to do today, God is going to be with you, so there's nothing that can stop you. I would just remind the man in the mirror. And I want to conclude by speaking into your life. You have a dream. God has a dream for you. God has a purpose for you. And let me tell you, that dream is so unique that no one in this world has a similar dream. That purpose is so unique that no one in this world has a similar purpose. That is what God has for you. And my friend, you will be able to do it with God. Just put your trust in God. Just put your hope in the name of Jesus Christ, and you, my friend, will be able to overcome your fear and achieve your biggest dreams.